The check was for $5,000. My daughter's fiancé's father pressed it into my hand outside the private dining room before I'd even taken my coat off. And he smiled the way rich men smile when they think cruelty is generosity. "We think it's best you say your goodbyes tonight, Ray," he said. "The kids deserve a fresh start. This is just to help you get settled somewhere." It was my daughter's engagement dinner, and he was paying me to disappear from it. My daughter stood 10 feet away, frozen, like she had just watched someone slap the man who raised her and did not know how to breathe yet. My name is Ray. For 31 years, I drove the number 14 bus through the east side of this city, same route every morning before the sun came up. I knew those streets better than the people who paved them. I knew the kids, too, the ones who waited at the corner of Hale and 8th in the cold, the ones whose mothers worked nights and couldn't drive them. I waited an extra 30 seconds for the slow ones. I learned their names. A bus driver isn't supposed to matter much, but you spend 3 decades getting other people's children home safe, and it becomes the thing you're for. I raised my daughter Anna alone after her mother passed. She was 9. I sold my car to cover her braces. I worked doubles for the prom dress the first semester of college. I never called it sacrifice. Dads do not get medals for feeding their children. They just make sure the lights stay on and the lunch money is there. So when Anna told me she was marrying Daniel, a good young man from a family with money, I was happy. I wore my one good suit, wrapped a small gift with my own hands, and drove across town with the last bus token for my final route, tucked inside the box. I thought I was bringing a blessing. I did not know I was walking into a price tag. I followed Charles into the private room. There were maybe 20 people in there. Daniel's relatives, his business partners, their wives, all of them in clothes that cost more than I made in a month. And my name card was at the very end of the table, so close to the kitchen doors that every time they swung open, warm air hit the back of my neck. Charles raised his glass. He made a little speech about Daniel and Anna. And near the end of it, he said, "Anna's come a long way from where she started, and tonight we are proud to welcome her into a family that can give her the kind of future she deserves." Anna looked down at her napkin. Daniel did not laugh. I folded the check once and put it in my jacket pocket, and I sat down at my little table by the kitchen. I didn't make a sound. I have carried screaming toddlers and drunk men and grieving widows on my bus without losing my temper. I wasn't going to lose it now. A young waiter set a plate in front of me. He stopped. He looked at my face the way you look at someone you can't quite place. "Mr. Ray?" he said. "Route 14?" I said yes. "You don't remember me? I was the kid at Hale and 8th. My mom worked the early shift at the hospital. You waited for me every single morning for 2 years. I was always late." His voice caught. "I dropped out of nothing because of you. I'm in nursing school now. Nights here pay for it." The room had gone a little quiet. People were listening now. Charles's smile thinned. The young man, his name was Marcus, he straightened up and said, loud enough for the table to hear, "This man got half this neighborhood to school, including me." And he shook my hand like the room had gotten my name wrong. I watched my daughter then. She was looking at my hands, the check folded in my jacket, the little wrapped gift still sitting on the table because I hadn't had a chance to give it to anyone. She knew those hands. She knew that quiet way I had of taking a thing and just carrying it, and something in her broke loose. Anna stood up, Her chair scraped the floor. She looked at Charles and then at the whole table, and she said, in a voice that shook but did not stop, "That man at the kitchen table is my father. He gave up everything he had so I could be in a room like this. If he leaves tonight, I leave with him." You could have heard a pin drop. Daniel looked at his father, then at Anna. Later, he told me he had been trying to find the right moment for a month. Turns out, some moments find you. Daniel stood up beside her. He looked sick. He took out his phone. "A month ago," he said quietly, "at the club, before any of you knew I could hear you, Dad, you were talking about this wedding." And he pressed play. Charles's own voice filled that silent room, even businesslike, sure that no one important was listening. It's good for the family image, makes us look grounded. The old man is the problem, not the girl. But men like that understand two things: cash and being told where to go. Give him a check, give him a ticket out of town, and let the children start clean. Nobody at that table moved. Charles' face had gone the color of ash. His partners were staring at their plates. The mask, the kind, generous, proud father mask, was just gone, and what was under it was sitting there for everyone to see. I could have said a lot of things. I'd had 31 years of quiet to think of them. Instead, I stood up and I walked over, and I set the folded check down on the white tablecloth in front of Charles. I smoothed it flat with my hand. "You keep this," I said. "A man does not need payment to step away from people who never saw him standing there." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't gloat. A man who spent his life making sure everyone gets home safe doesn't start throwing people off the bus at the end. I picked up my little wrapped gift, and I walked down to the other end of the table, and I gave it to Anna. It was a small frame. Inside it was the last bus token from my final route, the one I'd kept in my wallet for 6 years, and a note that said, "For every road after this one, wherever you go, you still have a way home." They married in the spring, not in a ballroom, in Daniel's grandmother's backyard, under a string of lights. 40 people, paper plates, the best day of my life. Charles wasn't there. Daniel doesn't talk to him much anymore. That was Daniel's choice, not mine. Marcus came, in a real suit this time. He finished nursing school. He sat at my table. And me? I bought an old city bus at auction, the kind they were retiring. I fixed it up myself, every bolt. On Saturday mornings, I take neighborhood kids on a slow loop through the park. No fare, no hurry. I still wait an extra 30 seconds for the slow ones. I still learn their names. For 31 years, my job was making sure everybody got home safe. I wasn't about to leave my own daughter standing at the curb. They tried to pay me to disappear. They forgot that I'd spent my whole life being the one who shows up. If you were in that room, would you have found the courage to stand beside the quiet man everyone else overlooked? Tell me below. And if a quiet man in your life ever carried more than he said, this story is for him.